Hello guys, welcome to a new video. In this video I will be showing you guys how to return to MONKE with this new gorilla build. It clears tier 4, it can go even to pit tier 100 if you finally get you some levels in there and optimize it all the way through. It can easily clear to pit 120. I'm sure this build will do great all along the way. It has so much potential, and I'm not even fully optimized and I'm already clearing tier 4. So I want to get right into it. If you think this build helped you out or anything, or you want to try it out, please like, comment, subscribe, engage with the video. It really helps me out. I'm trying to grow, and I'll be streaming this build later tonight as well. So let's get into it. On the background, I have some tier 4 Infernal Horde gameplay just showing you guys with the build. I think this was even before I optimized some of my gear. So this build really can just grow and grow and grow. I only have 2 of my Paragon glyphs leveled to legendary. The other ones are just not leveled at all. So this already shows that this build still has crazy potential to go, and it can already clear quite well in tier 4. I did die one time, but that is just because my armored hide wasn't up and I wasn't paying that much attention. So let's get into the build. It really uses the same engine as the Quill Volley build, but you use your gorilla skills instead of the Quill Volley. I think it's a little bit more thematic, and I think it really is a lot of fun too. So for your helm, you take the Ibawaka for the 30% damage increase. I would say for the gems in it, barrier generation, dexterity, those two are your main ones you want. Barrier generation is great until you can get like a full barrier uptime. I think it's great, and I think it also gives you a lot more damage because your damage will scale with the... There is one of the Paragon nodes I will go over later, which will also scale your damage based on the barrier you get. So it's very important that you get barrier. Same with life. On your chest plate you want dexterity, maximum life, and armor, just so you can get that armor cap. And maximum life also scales with overpower. You'll be overpowering a lot with this build. So that is very important. For tempering, barrier generation, as I've said before, barriers are great, more damage. And one that's actually quite difficult to get is the maximum resolve stacks. It is also damage for your gorilla smash ability, the bonk bonk. And once you do that, your main core ability will get even more damage. So you want to get as many resolve stacks as possible. You actually get like 3% and 2% per resolve stack. So each of these are extra damage, and you actually want to hit those with masterworking as well. I failed here. As you can see, my build is not fully optimized yet, but it's still clearing T4s easily. So, and of course disobedience, because I'm at the 625, which is not the 1000 armor cap. You could probably get there if you take some incense, and maybe like, I think if you take some incense you can maybe get there. But the thing is that I currently don't have it, but I think if you masterwork your things a little bit, you can actually get there, and then you could take something else. I believe you can actually have something like, there's one of the aspects that gives your apprehension or duelist. I think are 2 good aspects that will really work out here. I think duelist will give you maximum favor stacks, which will just mean more attack speed, and apprehension is also pretty good in there. Then Moonrise on the gloves, this is just a great aspect which will give you 100% multiplicative damage if you have this maxed out. Also some attack speed in there and movement speed. You really want that plus the crushing hands, and for masterworking you want to get this one as well. As of course mine missed it and went for the crushing hand size. Crushing hand size is kind of something I did because I think the crushing hand size was a little bit too small, but if you take one of these, it's actually great. I've not noticed much of a difference if I take it on my chest piece as well. So you can always just take barrier generation, but I thought this one was actually quite nice for farming. So the AoE will be even more massive and will just be clearing and clearing monsters. Then for your other offensive temper, I would say take basic damage until you have 275 resource. Once you have 275 resource, you can actually start taking overpower damage, because then you'll be overpowering each and every hit. I overpower almost each and every hit. Sometimes I don't overpower when I hit, so I take basic damage with that. For your pants, T-Bot's Will is just great pants. All the stats on there are great, especially maximum resource. You want to get to that 275 cap, so you overpower each and every time. So it basically just means more damage as well, especially with your Kapeleke, which we'll go over in a bit. Kapeleke will make your so that every hit is critical, and it deals even more damage based on your resources. So the more resources you get, the more damage you do. And for your runes on there, I think the Voracious Fortress, I think the Basically, each and every time you spend your resources, it's great. And then with the Earthen Bulwark, it's just another barrier you can get for that 100% barrier, which means more damage. For your boots, Yen's Blessings are great just to get that armor or like a resistance cap. You really want that. So I got a GA in there and then 1 masterworking, and you should be like mostly fine. I think I do still have 2 resistances which are like around the 60% range. So I still maybe need to get 1 more masterworking hit on that. And this one also gives resource regeneration. That is very important too. The more resource generation you have, the better you can get you 100% of your resources back. And once you actually get that, you'll be able to crit each and every time. I do have a calculator in the description, which you just need to fill in what the percentage your Midnight Sun is and what percentage your stats, your resource generation are. And then once you fill those 2 in, it will actually calculate how much more resource regeneration you need to get 100% of your resources back. This is because once you hit with Kapeleke, it will use all of your resources. Then your Midnight Sun will give you 50% back because you critically striked of your resources. So you will gain 100% if you actually multiply this enough. So here you can see that I have 18%, 13%, and those together with the intelligence, that gives you a little bit of resource generation again. And also your Ravager, which gives you 30% more resource regeneration, you'll be able to get to that 100%. So all of those things combined will give you that 100%, so that every time you crit, you use up all of your resources, you do a huge crit, and then you use your Midnight Sun and you get it all back. And then you just loop and loop again, and this is how you keep bonking for these insane crits. And then the Banished Lord Talisman comes in and makes this even better. After you spend 275 of your resources by doing this, you will get an even more insane bonk, which will overpower, which is already increased damage bonus. And then you will not even overpower, you will just also do critical strike over, you will deal 56 increased damage with that overpower. So it's just an insane kind of like multiplicative jumble in there. And it's all because of this unique Kapeleke. And you will just do insane damage amounts with this, and each and every one of your hits can do this if you have above 275 resources. I don't have that, and it's still a great build. You don't need it for this build to actually be great. I just do overpower 1 every 2 hits, and once I get over 275, which will take a little bit more like min-maxing on my Paragon board or like leveling glyphs, then I'll be able to overpower with all of my hits, and that will just be crazy. And that's what you see most of the YouTubers doing nowadays. Anyway, you don't need that to get into this build. You just need the uniques, and you could just already start playing. You can already get 135 of your resources quite quickly, and then if you just get the Midnight Sun with the Kapeleke bonus, when you get to 100% of that, which is also quite easily doable, you just need a Temper and the Yen's Blessing, just 1 masterwork hit on there, which is also quite like easily accessible. You just need to drop the uniques and then get a few tempers on there. It shouldn't be that hard, and then you can already that once every 2 hits you will actually start getting 100%. Both hits will crit, and one of them will overpower, which will already be an insane increase in damage. So this is already crazy. And it is not that difficult to get into, and it doesn't require any mythic uniques too. So you can get this with just a few bosses and a bit of farming you will get from your journey reward anyway. So moving on, yeah, of course the Midnight Sun. Any of the also for the masterworking, what you want to get, core skills is very important here. I missed all of them. Maximum life is also still pretty decent, but core skills are really great. Dexterity is great. Cooldown reduction is also pretty great because you do have a little bit of downtime on your armored hide. So for your ring, you actually want resource generation, as I've said before. Basic skill damage until you get 275 resource. Then overpower damage is better. And redirected force will give you so much increased critical strike damage because it can double once you block a skill. And you have 100% block chance once you have your armored hide up. So that's about it for the aspects. I do want to say one thing. You can get Vex in there instead of getting 20% more life with this rune. Basically, once you get 4 cooldowns, cast 4 cooldowns, you will get 20% maximum life. This is just good. Your overpower will also scale with this. This is a good combo. But Vex is also an option you can take if you want to opt into something else, and also increase your armored hide uptime a little bit more and increase your damage more in a different type of way. I'm not sure if it deals more damage because 20% maximum life I think does deal more damage with the overpowers. Okay, for your Spirit Hall, I would say the Jaguar is the best one. Nothing really else can compare to this. The Eagle doesn't really compare to this. You're not evading that much. You're already doing gorilla skills, so your Ebawaka helmet won't trigger from this. So it's like 30% damage less. And for your Centipede, doesn't really compare. The damage reduction, you don't really need that much damage reduction. You're quite tanky with this build with the 100% barrier and the 20% increased maximum life, so you don't really die that much at all. If you don't pay attention at all, like I did in the video, like in the Inferno Hordes video, I think I died like once because I was just looking away. I was just, you know, smacking my keyboard, and that's when it really happens. But the Jaguar, it really adds an insane amount of damage to your build, so I would advise for the Jaguar. And then for the Eagle, I would say Gorilla is like a permanent unstoppable, but you're almost permanently unstoppable anyway. Just a little bit. It is nice build to maximum resolve, but you're missing that 30% damage from your Ibawaka that will also apply to all of your skills for your second Spirit Hall. So I would say Eagle is quite nice. You don't really need a crit chance, so you could also say let's do Centipede, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter that much because the Centipede second one is not really that noticeable. Then for your abilities, I will go quickly about some of the notable things because most of the things are quite standard. A notable thing is that Vigorous is actually quite important for your skill tree. Casting your core skill will increase your vigor generation. You can use this when your vigor generation is not up to standards yet, or if you got a bad roll on your Midnight Sun, so you can use this to actually increase your resource generation so you get to that 100% and fully crit every hit. Then something else, Measured Ravager, same thing, resource generation, vigor generation, and of course, while it's active, you instantly dash to your target, which is just insane for your mobility. Now you don't need, you're just basically a monk on steroids. If you have played Diablo 3, you know what I'm talking about. You could just instantly dash towards any of the enemies and just start smacking and bonking. For your defensive skills, any of your remaining points, I would say put them into Armored Hide. That is quite important, just to put everything in Armored Hide. That would just increase the active duration and make it so you have little less downtime. Perseverance is also nice for the extra damage reduction per stack of resolve. You have like 12 stacks with this build and more if you hit your master working on your chest piece, so you can get even more damage reduction. One notable thing about Scourge is that you can get Reinforced Scourge, which will basically add 10% vigor generation every second. And the thing is about this is only necessary if you don't have a 100% uptime on your like Kapeleke, where you just constantly get your resources back. Then this is handy. If you're not, I'll just take the point out. It's not really that useful. Barrier generation, always good. And you'll be having quite a bit of uptimes. This Dominant and Resilient just for the extra tankiness. Brilliance is actually quite nice. I almost didn't take this, but it's just a 12% damage bonus. And it can get even more if you get more movement speed on your boots or hit it with masterworking. Just extra damage in there. I used to have points into the Hunter, but I took all of them out. It's not really that necessary. You're dealing most of your damage with Cresting Fist anyway. And I did put 1 point into Initiative just because when I maybe get like a surprise or something and I'm really caught with my pants down, then it's really handy to have that one unstoppable in there and just get out of that sticky situation without dying, because the Hunter will be up most of the time anyway. You'll be able to get that a lot of the time. Prodigy's tempo is just making all of your skills rank increase and also all of your cooldowns go down very quickly. So that's very important too. Paragon Board. My Paragon Board is a bit messy. I'm just trying around a few things, and I only leveled 2 of my Paragon Glyphs, Fitness and Spirit, so it's not really that clean. So just so you guys can see a little bit, I did Spirit for the first one. I just for all of it increased critical strike damage. Then as well for the other one, which increased critical strike damage, is Fitness. At least I leveled these two just to get a lot more of the critical strike damage, which scales well with the Kapeleke, and all of your overpowers. Revealing for extra damage. The first one is actually sapping, more extra damage as well, because you'll be casting them in a row a lot as well. It can even help with your vigor generation at the beginning if you're not having that 100% resource generation yet. And then a Colossal, just a great glyph to have. You just need to get that damage bonus and level it up for that extra increased close damage. And I think, oh yeah, I do have one more board, and that is actually Vicious Shield, which is very important. You actually might want to get this one earlier than what you want this called again? Revealing, because knockdown against vulnerable, the damage against crowd control enemies is quite conditional. You don't make enemies vulnerable actually. I don't think you might actually want vulnerable applied vulnerable with your gloves, because I don't think anything in this build actually applies vulnerable, and it is a 20% damage bonus, so you might want to consider that if you're dealing more and more time to killing enemies and higher pits. It might actually be quite a nice bonus, but this one is very important because it is also bugged. It will give you multiple instances of this damage, so you can get a crazy amount of multiplicative damage from this, so that's very important. One of the other runes that is quite nice is Menagerist. You can't read it right here, but it's actually a rune that gives you a bonus to magical nodes, and you actually want to put that in here, so you get the bonus to these magical nodes, which increase your maximum resource. That's about it for Paragon. I will have a full Paragon, or like a 200 level Paragon board in there, which you can copy off. Most of the things are quite standard, to be honest. Mercenary, I like Subo. It is personal preference. People have other things in there as well. Subo can do some increased critical strike damage with your cover fire, so that's quite nice. And as well, for the other one, I have Rahir for the damage reduction. It is quite standard, nothing really that special about it. That was it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Really, if this video helped in any way, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please give me some feedback on the videos. I'm trying out some new stuff as well, so I really appreciate you guys watching my videos, watching my streams, interacting with me, giving some feedback, and I can improve the videos along the way. That was it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. Ciao.